So we've just started, we've just released, our trial information for the 2021 Leeds Rhinos pathway season. So obviously it's taken a bit longer than anticipated, but in line with all the pathways, because we've been obviously following government guidelines as well as kind of England netball guidelines. So our return to play is a little bit stagnant at the moment, but we're really happy and excited to be able to put on trials kind of in October. So each age group doesn't yet have its specific date for trials, but we will be running them kind of week commencing 12th October for 3 weeks on the Mondays and the Wednesdays of those weeks. And hopefully we'll get through all of our trialists by that point. And if not, there's obviously a bit of flexibility for after those dates. So yeah, 12th of October is when we kind of get up and running and get able to trial the population of Yorkshire in netball. Well, at the moment, we've only released our 21s, 19s, and 17s age groups. There is under 15s to come, but we're still working through the kind of finer details of those ones. So, but it's not restricted kind of just to the region. We're obviously wanting athletes from wherever, as long as it's not too far for them to travel and still put out the kind of performance environment that we want and they want to kind of commit to. So, yeah, it's for those age groups, anyone in those categories who want to play performance netball, want to get on the pathway and get on the ladder and someday kind of have the aspiration to attain Super League contract, and if not more in terms of like international status as well.
And what kind of level and experience do they have to come on these trials?
Ideally, we would have obviously hoped that they have a good club level, ideally play for a top club, but to be fair, that doesn't always need to be the case, because you can get some players who are coming from a region where, or an area where maybe their club system isn't as advanced as others, or don't have access to those kind of clubs, but they could read the game really well and they could have really good basic skills and understanding and apply to that. So I think we're not limited in what we're looking for. We kind of have a very open vision, and with the team that we'll hopefully have in place, there'll be a lot of variety in the coaches as well. So they're all looking for different things and you're always kind of looking for people who have the basics down well, but also you kind of do want a bit of a sparrow in the works who can just read the game and pulls out some unbelievable stuff when you need it to happen.
Absolutely. For those who are successful on the trial, what can they expect being on our pathway?
In terms of the basics, it's obviously you got like the age groups will have like technical sessions, tactical sessions, be open to strength and conditioning, some psychology support, some nutrition support. But also they kind of are now once they're in there for this season, and hopefully then that kind of whets their appetite in a way to carry on up the pathway. And it means that they can step by step kind of get closer and closer to that Super League contract, and then ultimately that England call up if they want. And yeah, so it's just kind of like a stepping stone, regardless of your age, just to put you in that performance environment and get you kind of going on the performance pathway that inevitably will lead you to be an elite player if that's where you so wish to be.
Excellent. Leeds Rhinos Netball are preparing for their first season in the Super League. How exciting is that for the development of netball in the city?
Oh, it's amazing. I think I've been involved in the pathway before when we didn't have kind of the Super League involved and didn't have the 21s. And one of the questions that I was asked at the time was like, how are you kind of directing these girls to where they want to go next? I think that's obviously really difficult in the past when it hasn't been the case. So I think having it now, it kind of gives them a real sense of purpose and a real sense of identity, and shows them not a finished product, but a kind of the top level that they can get to, and they get access to that as well. Because obviously with being involved in Rhinos, it's such a close-knit and family and community type environment that there's going to be interchanges between all the kind of levels of the pathway, and adding Super League to that as well, and some top class players being around these youngsters who are just learning their craft. It'll be amazing for them to kind of have that target in mind and see the people up close and personal as to where they eventually would want to be.
Just a little background on you then, Francine, just for people who are new to the game or new to Leeds Rhinos Netball. What's your background in netball and how have you come to be involved with Leeds Rhinos?
So my background is at the moment I'm coaching at Leeds University, and I've been there for maybe it's about 5 years, I think now, kind of on and off. And I was involved in the pathway last year, working with under 15s and the futures. And prior to that, I've worked with Loughborough Lightning with their 21s, and also dabbled a bit in the playing side. But yeah, so this year I'm very fortunate to be able to be in the team and cover Emily Handyside, for her maternity cover, and just kind of get involved and get my hands dirty and try and get the show up and running. I think that's what the main focus for now.
You say you were involved in the pathway last year and you involved at Beckett's. You'll probably see some of the really exciting talent that's come in. Are you really excited for what the future is for Leeds Rhinos netball?
Yeah, I think it's a really good time to try and get it back on the track. Obviously, having been in the city for, well, this will be my 10th year now, I've seen it in times when there has been a Super League franchise, and I've seen it when there hasn't. And I think for netballers who want to come to university in Leeds, it's an ideal position, because obviously, as much as I wouldn't like to admit it, there is 2 or 3 options of places to go to university in the city, which all will have strong links with Rhinos, and we're both very supportive of kind of the pathway and the university's structure and how they can align together and get the best out of a student athlete, because inevitably, like, obviously everyone wants to play sport for a living and have that dream job, but we do need to have something else on the back burner for a rainy day. So I think it's great to have the Super League back to kind of bring more students and bring more netball fanatics into the city to be able to go to the universities and also get the best out of their kind of sport and aspirations at the same time.